Welcome everyone to the Phoenix Police Department's 2017 Annual Awards Ceremony. And now, welcome to the stage your MCs for tonight's ceremonies, Executive Assistant Chief Mike Kurtenbach, and special guest MC from Fox 10 AZAM, Anita Roman.
Welcome everyone. Thanks so much for being here. So many people, so many wonderful people have come together, and we are so proud to honor our award recipients tonight. This is your night. Be proud of yourselves.
Thank you so much for joining us, Anita. It's a real treat to have you here on this special night for the men and women of the Phoenix Police Department. Folks, before we begin, I'd like to take a moment to recognize some of our honored guests. Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to be joined by the mayor of this great city of Phoenix, Mayor Greg Stanton, Councilman Michael Nowakowski, and City Manager Ed Zerker, all of whom you will hear from later on in the program. We'd also like to take a moment to recognize the Phoenix Police Foundation and those sponsors whose generous contributions made this evening possible. To those members of the community in attendance, and to you, our family and friends who support us night after night as we work to come home after our shift, thank you, and please know that we love you.
All right, it looks like we are ready to go, so we are pleased to welcome our very first speaker for the evening. Ladies and gentlemen, Phoenix Mayor Greg Stanton.
Chief Kurtenbach and Anita, thank you for your leadership and being here tonight, doing your great MC jobs. Good evening, everyone. You know, this is a award show season, right? Award shows honoring music and TV shows and movies, but we can all agree there is no more important award ceremony than the one that we are at tonight, honoring the very best of the very best police department in the United States of America, the Phoenix Police Department. So thank you all for attending the 2017 Phoenix Police Awards ceremony. For me, it's an honor to be with you here tonight as we recognize our heroes, the heroes of the Phoenix Police Department who have gone above and beyond the call of duty, and citizens who have gone above and beyond the call of duty in support of our Phoenix Police Department. All of you make a huge difference in our community. Tonight's recipients are individuals who we honor and admire for committing heroic, life-saving, and remarkable acts while on duty. And we will also honor Officer David Glasser, who made the ultimate sacrifice in service to the citizens of Phoenix. We celebrate each of you for your outstanding acts of merit and valor, life-saving actions, volunteerism by those dedicated to serve and protect our community. We know that you may not have to be a hero every day, but you are willing to be a hero on any given day. And as mayor, I want to say thank you to each of you for being a hero to all of us. Thank each police officer in the audience and the family members of those police officers, because our great department, the members of our department, couldn't do what they do without the support of their families. Congratulations to all of the awardees. Thank you for your service that you provide to our community, and thank you for being our local heroes. Enjoy tonight's ceremony. Have a great night.
Thank you, Mayor Stanton, for those very uplifting words. Ladies and gentlemen, I now would like to welcome to the podium Phoenix City Manager Ed Zerker.
Thank you, Chief Kurtenbach, Chief Williams, for the opportunity to speak tonight. It's always my honor to thank our city employees for jobs well done. Every day, Phoenix employees do things that are important and things that matter for the residents of Phoenix. We provide clean water, reliable transportation, recreation, we pick up the trash, we paint out graffiti, and of course, what you do in the police department, respond to calls for help, run towards danger, and make Phoenix safe. Thank you. This is a challenging time to be a government employee generally, and even more so to be a police officer. You're expected to know more, do more, and care more than ever before. That's not necessarily a bad thing, because our residents deserve the very best, and you give that to them. But too many times our focus can be on what doesn't happen or what goes wrong, not on what goes right. And that's why nights like tonight are so gratifying. It's important to have these times where we do recognize the things that go right every day. These are actions that happen in little ways and big every day, and it's important to recognize them and use them as inspiration and energy to keep doing good things. Like Sergeant Palmer and 22F and 22G squads who took a grandma and her granddaughters to Target for Christmas shopping. Officer Harris, Peters, Caro, and Reyes who helped a mother and her 4-year-old son get the materials they needed after mom lost her job and lost daycare. Recently, Officer Muniz who helped someone deliver a baby in the middle of an intersection, in the middle of a crash scene. Or the police department team that worked on the Women's March in January. I got an email from a resident who was so complimentary, who was so excited about how the police department had assisted in that, and said, quote, "This is the role of the police, to ensure our safety, but respect our rights to take to the streets on issues we're passionate about. Please give my thanks to everyone." So it's my honor to do that tonight. So those are just a few examples of the important work. We're going to see many more tonight. Work that you do for the residents of Phoenix. Thank you again for what you do for the community. And thank you for how you each represent all Phoenix employees. As one myself, I'm very grateful for how you represent us every day. Enjoy your celebration of great work. Thank you.
So the chief just informed me that he provided me with a 907 backup when I lost my place. So I learned something today, right?
Great job, Anita.
Thank you. I'll be using that out in the field when I'm covering you guys. All right, thank you to Mr. Zucker. Ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker, familiar one to us here in Phoenix. She has rose through the ranks of the Phoenix Police Department to the level of assistant chief. She left us briefly back in 2011 to serve as police chief in Oxnard, California, and then she returned to us last year when she was selected as your police chief. She is a Phoenix native, a graduate of Maryvale High School. She holds a bachelor's from ASU and a master's from NAU. Ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome to Police Chief Jerry Williams.
So good evening and welcome to our annual award ceremony. Before I begin, I will have to be really honest. Two of the most proudest days of my life was the day when I became a Phoenix police officer, and quite frankly, the day that I became your police chief. So I'm really excited to be here today. And I'm also reminded of how and why I'm so proud of our agency and our city and our organization. Tonight, we will hear stories of men and women performing heroic acts, stories that will literally make you shake your head in disbelief, stories that will make you thankful that we have the best police department in the world. Yet, as each award recipient walks across this stage, if any one of us stopped them to ask them how or why you earned your award, I'm pretty certain most of them will just say, "I was doing my job." So tonight, as was said to us by our city manager and by the mayor, let us celebrate our successes. Let us recognize our friends, our volunteers, our coworkers, our family members for their devotion to service when someone needed it most. To our recipients, what you may consider just doing your job means more to this community than you will ever know. As your police chief and a lifelong resident of Phoenix, please accept my personal appreciation and thank you for what you do. God bless. Have a great night.
Thank you, Chief. And now we'll get into the awards portion of the ceremony. A critical part of our team are the volunteers who donate their time and their many talents to all aspects of our amazing department. Here to announce the recipient of the 2016 COPS Volunteer Excellence Award, please welcome to the stage Director Marshall Franklin.
Thank you. COPS stands for Citizens Offering Police Support. So much of what we do as a police department is carried out by our volunteers. These very outstanding citizens give of themselves and their time to ensure that we continue to serve and protect and give back to our community. They serve on advisory boards, in neighborhood patrols, in precincts and bureaus, and assist with special events and programs. They are leaders and mentors and deserve our appreciation. Tonight, we recognize one very special volunteer who donated so much of his time over the past year. We thank him from the bottom of our hearts. Please welcome to the stage Chaplain Robert Fessmeyer.
Thank you, Director Franklin. Chaplain Bob, as we like to call him, serves as one of our volunteer interfaith police chaplains. On the record, Chaplain Bob has donated over 1,800 hours, but we know in reality he has given so much, so very much more. He meets with sworn and professional employees, he rides along, listens, counsels, and prays with us. He has presided over many of our funerals, line of duty or otherwise. He responds to critical incidents alongside our employee assistance unit to offer support and comfort during trying times. Chaplain Bob, we value your service, and personally, I value your friendship. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in recognizing Chaplain Bob Fessmeyer.
And here to introduce our next award category, the Medal of Life Saving, please welcome to the stage Assistant Chief Mary Roberts.
Thank you. The Medal of Life Saving is awarded to an employee or citizen for an act that results in saving or preserving a human life or lives that otherwise would have immediately expired. Each and every day in the life of a police officer includes experiences and opportunities that impact citizens and our community. Every recipient on stage tonight was involved in saving a life, and in many cases, their actions involved endangering their own life in the process. It would take all evening to share each of these stories, but each one is incredible in its own right. Many of these times, officers intervened at risk to their own personal safety in order to save someone who was in a life-threatening situation. In each case, the actions of these officers either saved or significantly prolonged the life of a citizen who otherwise may have perished. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the honorees and join me in recognizing all recipients of the Medal of Life Saving.
Stephen White, Ryan McAbee, Sergeant David Cedar, Retired Officer Scotty Johnson, William Underwood, Romel Colclough, Todd Whitbeck, Jeff Knopp, Chad Essel, Tim Lynch, Steve Rees, Tran Trung, Kendall Nunley, Adrian Rivas, Miss Ashley Thompson, Ashley Gagnon, Sergeant Francis Pereira, Jeffrey Reeson, Matthew Wyndham, Sergeant Phil Roberts, Robert Sandoval, Jordan Wold, Sean Yamain, Richard Rogers, Dustin Dion, Dustin Haynes, Toby Sexton, Christopher Olson, Scott Fay, Christopher Fessler, Alexander Garcia, Sergeant David Jordan, Jeff Roberts, Gail Amod, Reserve Officer Doug White, Reserve Officer Wayne Macklem, Tim Henningsen, Ryan Whittington, Kevin Harsh, Sergeant Aaron Whitlock, Jermaine Cunningham.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give the recipients of the Medal of Life Saving another round of applause. Congratulations, everyone. Often there are heroes who come from the very community that we are sworn to serve and protect. Tonight, we honor their service to the fellow citizens of Phoenix. Please welcome our citizen honoree receiving the Certificate of Life Saving, Miss Jennifer McGoldrick.
This is Carson Palmer, quarterback of the Arizona Cardinals. I want to say thank you to the Phoenix Police Department. We appreciate you putting your life on the line every single day to keep us safe. And I also want to say congratulations to all the award winners. Everybody have a great evening. Be safe.
Hey everybody, it's the crew from Fox 10 Arizona Morning. We want to say congratulations to all the award recipients and their families.
You guys are our everyday heroes.
You know, we appreciate and we understand the dangers that you face every day when you're just out there trying to do your job, and we wanted to take a minute right here, right now, to tell you how much we appreciate what you're doing to try to keep the city safe.
Yeah, I appreciate you and appreciate your families, all the sacrifices that you all make. You are definitely everyday heroes. Thank you.
So
Now,
thank you.
let's see a quick show of hands for Anita as the MC. Everybody there in the audience, is
She doing okay?
Yeah, doing great, right?
Yeah, we think
I
she's
think she is.
probably doing super.
We thought
Right?
she'd do okay, right?
Yeah.
Love you, Nita.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Phoenix PD.
And she didn't put them up to that.
No, I had no idea,
I
but they're in
promise
trouble
you that.
tomorrow morning.
So presenting our next award category, the Medal of Merit, please welcome to the stage Assistant Chief Sandra Renteria.
Thank you. The Medal of Merit is presented to an employee for an act of courage and dedication to duty during the performance of a police service that involves significant risk or danger to one's personal safety. As these awards are presented, you will hear stories of heroes who take quick action to protect life and property. Our community is lucky that these honorees were in the right place at the right time and knew exactly what needed to be done. We are truly grateful and proud to honor each of them tonight with the Medal of Merit. At this time, please welcome Officers Jacob Lewis, Sean Magnus, and Jonathan Martinez.
On May 6, 2016, officers Lewis, Magnus, and Martinez responded to a call of a subject armed with a machete. When they arrived, the suspect was sitting outside of a house with the knife in his hand. As officers approached, the suspect advanced on them, wildly swinging that machete. The officers immediately gave commands to drop the weapon as the suspect continued to move toward them, armed with that large knife, if you can imagine. Officer Magnus deployed stun bag rounds, and soon after, a taser was deployed. The suspect finally dropped that machete and was taken into custody. The officers soon discovered that it was the suspect himself who had called police, hoping to lure the officers to him and force them into taking his life. The actions of these officers are in keeping with the highest standards and traditions of the Phoenix Police Department. Officer Jacob Lewis, who could not be here tonight, Sean Magnus, and Jonathan Martinez are hereby awarded the Medal of Merit. Congratulations. On February 6th of 2016, a victim who was home alone received a knock at her door. She answered the door. A suspect asked for two people who did not live there. He then asked if the victim's boyfriend was home. Fearing for her safety, the victim tried closing the door, but the suspect overpowered her, forced his way into the residence, and then a struggle ensued between the victim and the suspect. The victim's brother, Anthony Prisceno, arrived home and thought a burglary was in progress. He alerted his neighbor, Carl Ford, who rushed over to help. Along with Bailey Hirschberger, the struggle, they came in and they assisted. All three heroes were able to remove the suspect, detain him outside until police arrived. All three of these citizens placed themselves in significant risk while rushing to the aid of another person. For their selfless acts of courage, we honor Anthony Prisceno, Carl Ford, and Bailey Hirschberger with the Certificate of Meritorious Conduct. Mr. Prisceno could not be here with us tonight. Congratulations.
And now please welcome to the stage Officer Stephen Mykak. On December 12, 2015, Officer Mykak was on a routine tow of an abandoned car. While waiting for the tow truck, he heard a commotion coming from behind his Tahoe. When he looked behind the patrol car, he saw a 71-year-old male laying on his back in the street. The man had been walking his dog when a loose dog attacked both him and his pet. The man was yelling for help as the dog was repeatedly biting him. Without hesitation, Officer Mykak leapt into action, running toward the dog, yelling and kicking at the animal in order to stop this vicious attack. Officer Mykak intentionally placed himself in the path of the animal in order to free the man. He deployed his taser, which ultimately ended the dog's actions. Officer Mykak suffered bites on both hands, and his injuries kept him off patrol for nearly a month. His selfless actions are in keeping with the highest standards and traditions of the Phoenix Police Department. Officer Stephen Mykak is hereby awarded the Medal of Merit.
On January 28, 2015, Phoenix Police responded to a burglary from a vehicle at a Walmart. The officer was directed toward the suspect, who was still inside the store. Upon contact, that suspect immediately resisted arrest and assaulted the police officer. The suspect broke free and ran toward the exit. Mr. Alfred Ruiz was a bystander who quickly reacted without consideration for his own safety. He immediately tackled that suspect to the floor. The suspect fought both Mr. Ruiz and the police officer. During the struggle, the suspect's father approached and tried to interfere with the arrest. Mr. Ruiz and the officer fought off both subjects. Eventually, with the help of responding officers, the suspect was taken into custody. Mr. Ruiz displayed great bravery for stepping up to assist the officer, for placing himself at risk of personal injury in his effort to assist Phoenix Police. Mr. Alfred Ruiz is hereby awarded the Certificate of Meritorious Conduct.
Now please welcome to the stage Detectives Brian Wood and Josh Roper. On October 20th, 2016, Detectives Wood and Roper were finishing their meal break at a restaurant near 7th Avenue and McDowell Road when they heard a gunshot outside. They could see a man walking in the north curb lane of 7th Avenue firing toward the intersection. Without hesitation, the detectives rushed to confront the suspect. After ignoring commands to drop the gun, the suspect retreated to his vehicle. Without any cover, and with the congestion of innocent bystanders as their backdrop, firing on the suspect was not an option. The suspect was now contained in his vehicle. While Roper stood in front of the vehicle, Wood made his way to the driver's door, opened it, and took the suspect into custody without further incident. The detectives displayed exceptional courage and dedication to duty when they risked their own safety to advance on the suspect. Detectives Brian Wood and Josh Roper's actions are in keeping with the highest standards and traditions of the Phoenix Police Department, and they are hereby awarded the Medal of Merit.
Please welcome to the stage Officers Todd Guilford, Nick Barker, Tyler Geyer, Alex Garcia, and Glendale Police Officer Marcus King. Officer Scott Pavis could not be here with us tonight. On July 17th, 2016, the officers responded to a vehicle that had collided with a building, trapping the driver inside. An entire wall had been taken out, causing the roof to collapse. Phoenix Police Officer Scott Pavis and Glendale Police Officer Marcus King were first on scene. The vehicle caught fire. The officers attempted to put it out with the extinguishers from their patrol cars. Officer Guilford arrived and joined in. As the flames subsided, Officer King made entry into the car through a narrow opening and tried to free the victim. While evaluating his condition from the crash, Officer King noticed the man had been shot. Officers also noticed that the building had started to shift and advised King to get out. He managed to escape just as the fire reignited. Officers Baker, Garcia, and Geyer arrived on scene, and the group devised a plan to rescue the victim through the passenger window. In doing so, they were able to render aid until the fire department arrived. The heroic actions of Officers Todd Guilford, Scott Pavis, Nick Barker, Tyler Geyer, Alex Garcia, and Marcus King are in keeping with the highest standards and traditions of the Phoenix Police Department. Each of them hereby awarded the Medals of Merit and Life-Saving. Congratulations.
Hey everybody, it's the team from Good Morning Arizona, and being in the news every day, we know one thing for sure, that the police officer's job is very dangerous.
And we want to let you know that as community members, as your neighbors, we appreciate all you do for us, keeping us safe.
It is so important. You're the most important part of this community, and we want to thank you for protecting us, for taking care of our kids, for keeping this community safe and healthy. As the wife of a retired police officer, I want to say you're family, and we love you, and we appreciate what you do.
Thank you for not giving me a ticket that time I was speeding down Camelback in the rain and late for work. But seriously, thank you for your sacrifices every day.
We are proud of you.
Yes.
Hi, this is Paul Goldschmidt of the Arizona Diamondbacks. Thank you to Phoenix's Finest for protecting our community. Congratulations to all of tonight's awards recipients, and thanks for everything you do.
As a Phoenix resident, I see you guys hard at work every single day, and I can't thank you enough for your hard work and dedication.
It doesn't matter where you live, they're helping kids across the street, maybe directing traffic, investigating crime, to make sure you keep your friends and family safe. And so to all of our public servants in the Phoenix Police Department, we say thank you for what you do.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our honored guest. He is the chairman of the Public Safety and Veterans Subcommittee and District 7 Phoenix City Councilman Michael Nowakowski.
Good evening. It's truly an honor to serve as the chair of the Public Safety Subcommittee, representing our police officers at the city council level. You know, everyone understands how dangerous it is and how tough of a job that our police officers have. By pulling over someone for a simple ticket can turn into a deadly event. As a father of 6 children, I just really want to thank you. Thank you for making our neighborhoods safe, our communities safe, and our families feeling like they can walk outside at any given time and making our community a better place to live. Just listening to the stories on the screen and listening to the stories of the individuals receiving the awards tonight, it seems like you're watching a television or a movie. But these acts of bravery are real. And the men and women that are receiving these awards are real individuals that care and love what they do. They protect and serve our community. Unfortunately, tonight, we're also going to recognize the Glasser family for the ultimate sacrifice that an individual can do. 3 years ago, on the same stage, I made a commitment that we will keep the legacy of all of our fallen officers alive. And I committed that every Memorial Day, as long as I'm a council member, we will have a celebration of life, and that we would create a Heroes Lane so that young people and families and any individual that are in our city of Phoenix can actually see the men that have given their lives for this great city of ours. Down Washington Street, all the way from 7th Street to 7th Avenue, we line the side of the street with 7-foot banners of our heroes. Down Baseline Road from 35th Avenue all the way to 51st Avenue, we line them with our heroes also. And what's important about it is that we tell their stories, not of just being police officers, but also giving back to their communities, getting involved in their churches, being the Little League and football coaches out there. And it's amazing to hear their stories of what they do off duty as they are on duty. And once again, I just really want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart for every single person that puts on that uniform that protects and serves our community. God bless you all.
Here to present our next award category, the Medal of Valor, please welcome Assistant Chief Harry Markley.
Good evening. The Medal of Valor is awarded to an employee for a conspicuous act of valor during the performance of police service that involves risk of life and knowledge of that risk. The act clearly delineates valor from other forms of courage and is above and beyond the call of duty. Please welcome our next honoree to the stage, Officer Nicholas Mosley.
On August 19, 2016, Detective Nicholas Mosley was leaving Phoenix Children's Hospital when he responded to back up a patrol officer who was out with a suspicious person in a city park. Unbeknownst to Detective Mosley, the contact with the suspect had quickly become violent. The suspect assaulted the officer that he was backing up, breaking his nose and causing other significant injuries. When Detective Mosley arrived, the officer warned him that the suspect had taken away his service weapon. Taking decisive action, Detective Mosley drew his weapon and shot the suspect, ending the violent encounter. The suspect dropped the weapon and ran a short distance before collapsing. Detective Mosley chased after the suspect, apprehending him, and yet still rendering aid to the suspect until the fire department arrived. His actions are in keeping with the highest standards and traditions of the Phoenix Police Department. Detective Nicholas Mosley is hereby awarded the Medal of Valor.
Please welcome Officer Robert Stewart. On July 9, 2016, Officer Stewart responded as a backup to a suspicious person call near the I-17 and Peoria Avenue. Prior to their arrival, the suspect relocated to a different convenience store near the I-17 and Thunderbird Road. Officer Stewart approached the vehicle with backup when the driver drove away from them. With assistance from the air unit, police followed the suspect to a nearby apartment complex, established a perimeter. The vehicle parked, two suspects got out, one of them pointed a gun at police. Officer Stewart drew his service weapon, gave commands to the suspect to drop his weapon. The suspect, however, continued running while pointing the gun at numerous bystanders. Another officer fired at the suspect, but only grazed him. The suspect then attempted to break into an apartment when he pointed the gun at a group of swimmers at the pool. Officer Stewart tried turning the suspect's attention away from the innocent victims when the suspect turned his gun on Officer Stewart. He fired his weapon at the suspect and ended the violent threat. Officer Robert Stewart's brave actions are in keeping with the highest standards and traditions of the Phoenix Police Department, and tonight he is awarded the Medal of Valor.
On October 3rd, 2016, an ASU downtown student was attempting to enter the Arizona Center parking garage by using her access card at one of the gates. As soon as she rolled her window down, she noticed a man quickly approaching her vehicle with a large butcher knife. She tried to roll up her window, but the suspect began thrusting the knife through the window. He was trying to stab her with one hand while trying to unlock the door with the other. Marty Benally, Rick Baca, and Chris Tarango witnessed the incident and yelled to distract the suspect, who began walking toward them with the knife. Mr. Baca, who was a concealed weapons permit holder, drew his weapon and gave commands to the suspect to drop the knife. The suspect complied, and Mr. Benally and Mr. Tarango took the suspect to the ground, detaining him until Phoenix police officers arrived. These men demonstrated the highest level of courage and bravery when confronting this violent suspect. Without their actions, the victim would likely have sustained serious injuries. For their heroic actions, Mr. Rick Baca, Marty Benally, and Chris Tarango are hereby awarded the Certificate of Valorous Conduct.
Hey, I'm Mike Broomhead from News Talk 550 KFYI. I just wanted to take a minute to thank you. I'm proud of who you are. I'm proud of what you do. I have a brother in law enforcement who is my hero. What you do on the streets of Phoenix makes it possible to do what I do every day and do it in safety. You're great people. Your family should be proud of you, and I just wanted you to know how proud I am, and thank you for everything that you do for us.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jason Rowley, president of the Phoenix Suns, Phoenix Mercury, and Talking Stick Resort Arena. First and foremost, I'd like to congratulate both the award recipients and their families for the award you're receiving tonight. It's a great honor and you should be very proud for your accomplishments. Secondarily, but as importantly, I want to thank the entire Phoenix police community for the great work you do protecting our citizens day in and day out. For all the events we put on here, the traffic, the support, the protection that you give our fans as they come into this building is something that we value very highly. So thank you for all that you do. Have a great evening.
Hi, I'm Shane Doan of the Arizona Coyotes, and on behalf of the team and the entire organization, I just want to congratulate all the award recipients and the entire Phoenix Police Department. Thank you so much for keeping our community safe.
I mentioned at the beginning of the program that this amazing ceremony would not be possible without the support of the Phoenix Police Foundation. So folks, please welcome to the stage the president of the Police Foundation, Mr. Tim Thomas.
Good evening, everyone. Phoenix Police Foundation is honored to help support this amazing event. I'd like to begin by again thanking our sponsors this evening that really made this evening possible, including our title sponsor, Grand Canyon University, a great partner with the police, as well as Blue Cross Blue Shield of Arizona and Galloway Financial. The Phoenix Police Foundation recognizes that every day the brave and capable men and women of the Phoenix Police Department put it on the line for our community. From my perspective, it has never been more difficult. That makes recognizing the work that you all do even more important. If you're not familiar with the Phoenix Police Foundation, we are a 501c3 not-for-profit organization that exclusively supports the Phoenix Police Department. While created in 2002, the foundation was largely inactive until about 2.5 years ago. Since then, we've been very busy. In addition to supporting the last several award ceremonies, the foundation has supported such initiatives as the facilitating the purchase of a new narcotics canine, funding the graduation of Class 493 to be held in the Convention Center, the first all-Phoenix Academy class in a long time. We've provided the avenue for a $35,000 donation from Circle K that will be used to support patrol officers. And as many have, we supported the Glasser family in a time of tragedy. And today we are working closely with David's squad mates to aid the Glasser family and 81 X-Ray back to Washington, D.C. for Police Week, where David's name will be added to the National Police Officers Memorial Wall. We thank you for what you do. We thank you for your support, and congratulations to all the award winners this evening. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, here to present the next award category, the Police Shield. Please welcome Assistant Chief T.J. Martin.
Thank you. Our next award is the Police Shield. This medal is awarded to an employee who, during the performance of a police service, sustained significant injury or whose treatment requires prolonged medical attention. In recent years, the Phoenix Police Department has reached out to Phoenix police officers with prior service whose circumstances also merit this honor. Their service goes far beyond the end of their shift, and they carry with them the sacrifices they made for their community. Please welcome to the stage Officer Ethan Coffey.
On March 22, 2014, Officer Ethan Coffey was conducting a traffic investigation when his patrol vehicle was nearly rear-ended by a passing car. Officer Coffey and his partner approached the vehicle to contact the occupant. They suspected that the driver was impaired, removed him from the vehicle. Well, as the suspect was being detained, he began to violently resist the officers and tried to escape. During the struggle, Officer Coffey heard a sharp pop in his neck, followed by tremendous pain in his neck and shoulder. The suspect continued his assault on the officer, at one point grabbing Officer Coffey's holstered gun. The suspect was eventually detained, but Officer Coffey discovered that his neck and right shoulder very seriously injured. Multiple surgeries were required. Future surgeries are possible. Officer Coffey has not yet been able to return to an enforcement position. For his acts of bravery, for having sustained injuries while performing them, Officer Ethan Coffey is hereby awarded the Police Shield.
There's no denying that our nation is experiencing difficult times. Many have taken to the streets across the United States to make their voices heard. Some have even made comparisons to civil rights demonstrations made during the 1960s. Our next honoree experienced this firsthand as a Phoenix police officer in 1967. Please welcome to the stage Retired Sergeant Lico Lopez. On July 26, 1967, then Officer Lopez was shot while patrolling the area of 200 North 17th Street. He was hospitalized for injuries to his right eye, cheek, and both legs. The suspect was unknown and never apprehended. This incident occurred during a period of great unrest and civil disturbance in Phoenix and throughout our nation. For injuries sustained in the line of duty today, we are proud to finally award Retired Sergeant Lico Lopez with the Police Shield.
Please welcome to the stage Officer David Dager. On December 21st, 2011, Officer Dager was patrolling on his police motorcycle when a vehicle switched into his lane, striking Officer Dager and his motorcycle. The force of the collision threw Officer Dager to the ground, breaking 4 ribs, puncturing a lung, injuring multiple tendons and ligaments. Since this incident, Officer Dager has undergone more than 3 surgeries to address his injuries. As a result, Officer Dager could no longer ride a motorcycle. For serious injuries sustained in the course of duty, Officer David Dager is hereby awarded the Police Shield.
And now please welcome to the stage Officer Eric Gardner. On September 16, 2015, Officer Eric Gardner was working a supplemental patrol shift when he observed a vehicle operating on the roadway. A records check revealed a suspended registration and that the registered owner had a misdemeanor warrant on file. Officer Gardner initiated a traffic stop on the vehicle, and as he approached, the driver fired 3 shots out of the open front window. One bullet struck Officer Gardner in the chest, but was stopped by his body armor. A second round impacted his gun belt, and the third went through his upper arm, fracturing his humerus. Officer Gardner was able to safely move to cover. The suspect fled the scene, but was apprehended later that day. Officer Gardner underwent reconstructive surgery with 9 months of rehabilitation. Thankfully, he was able to return to full duty in July of 2016. For serious injuries sustained in the line of duty, Officer Eric Gardner is hereby awarded the Police Shield.
Please welcome Sergeant Anthony Pankowski and Officer Jeremy Piles. Receiving the Medal of Valor, please welcome Officer Ryan Hoffrichter. On September 13th, 2016, at around 1:45 a.m., Sergeant Anthony Pankowski and Officer Jeremy Piles and Ryan Hoffrichter were meeting in front of a convenience store to discuss an earlier call. It was Officer Piles' first day on the squad following field training. As the three of them stood next to a marked patrol Tahoe, the suspect drove up, parked next to a nearby gas pump. After a period of time, the suspect moved positions, backing into a space, pointed his vehicle directly in line with the officers. Surveillance video, which is incredible if you've seen it, shows the suspect drive directly at the officers, slowly at first, and then accelerate toward them. They only had seconds, split seconds if you can imagine, to react prior to the impact. Sergeant Pankowski was struck on his left side, tearing apart his ankle, fracturing his leg. The impact sent Officer Piles into the storefront window. Officer Hoffrichter was able to sidestep out of the way as the suspect crashed into a pillar. Officer Hoffrichter moved to contact the suspect, who then began attacking him as he exited the driver's seat. Despite a serious head injury, Officer Piles joined in to assist with detaining the combative suspect. The two struggled for several minutes before they were able to deploy a taser and handcuff that suspect. Each officer was transported to the hospital. Officer Hoffrichter was treated and released. Sergeant Pankowski underwent reconstructive surgery on his ankle and leg. Officer Piles was admitted to the hospital for his serious head injury as well as other injuries. These officers' persistent and heroic actions after having sustained very serious injuries in the line of duty are in keeping with the highest standards and traditions of the Phoenix Police Department. Sergeant Anthony Pankowski, Officer Jeremy Piles are hereby awarded the Medal of Valor. For injuries sustained in the line of duty, each are awarded the Police Shield. Officer Ryan Hoffrichter is hereby awarded the Medal of Valor.
Please welcome retired Officer Eric Marlowe, and receiving the Medal of Merit, Officer Nick Hutchins. On April 18, 2015, Officers Marlowe and Hutchins responded to a call of a male pointing a gun at the caller in a park near 20th Street and Thomas Road. Officers arrived and found the man inside a van, refusing to exit and admitting to being armed. Perceiving a threat, Marlowe broke the passenger window. He retreated backwards, running into a tree in the process and dislocating his shoulder. He fell to the ground a few feet from the van and realized he had also been shot. The suspect had opened fire on the officers, and Hutchins returned fire. Marlowe was able to make it to cover behind a police car where Officer Jamie Lowe began to render aid. The violent threat was eventually stopped, and the suspect was down. Officer Marlowe was transported to the hospital for treatment, and he has since medically retired due to his injury. These officers displayed great courage while putting a stop to a violent threat. Their actions are in keeping with the highest standards and traditions of the Phoenix Police Department. For bravery and injuries sustained in the line of duty, Eric Marlowe is awarded the Police Shield and the Medal of Merit. Officer Nick Hutchins is hereby awarded the Medal of Merit. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we present our next award category, the Police Chiefs Unit Award. This award is presented for the successful completion of a predetermined police-related on-duty act or acts, continuing effort or efforts by a group of employees working for a common objective. Please welcome to the stage this year's honorees who are receiving the Police Chiefs Unit of the Year Award, the following members of the Gang Enforcement Unit.
Lieutenant John White, Lieutenant Christopher Eric, Sergeant Marcus Allen, Sergeant Larry Davis, Sergeant Lance Dietrich, Sergeant Theodore Gehring, Sergeant Tyler Camp, Travis Aguirre, James Banks, Michelangelo Caggiano, Wendy Castellanos, Jeffrey Cianfrogna, Brian Cuthbertson, Leonard Diaz, George Fulton, Sean Hall, Santiago Maldonado, Joshua Mesquita, Robert McKinney, John McQuillan, Douglas Michaud, Christopher Moore, Todd Moore, Richard Nielsen, Jeffrey Nolder, Dario Ojeda, Matthew Porianda, Theron Quas, Lawrence Roski, Jay Schultz, Stephen Skinner, David Snow, Bo Silvestri, Timothy Tebow, Ed Warner, Dustin Watts, Ms. Andrea Max, Ms. Amanda Orozco, Ms. Michelle Michaud, Ms. Elaine Lawrence, Retired Detective Clint Davis, Retired Sergeant Edward Rodriguez.
The Violent Crimes Bureau Gang Enforcement Unit is a specialized group of detectives consisting of 2 street enforcement squads. Each member of the unit is case-carrying detectives. In addition, the unit also has civilian staff to assist with the analysis, redaction of reports generated by detectives, and so on. The unit works closely with their analysts who use a multitude of techniques to include social media and databases to gather intelligence. During 2016, the gang unit made 595 arrests, authored 1,956 reports, processed 1,257 gang member information cards. Our gang unit also participates in the FBI Violent Street Gang Task Force, along with other local and federal law enforcement agencies. Their efforts resulted in the following: 153 arrests, 80 indictments, 68 search warrants, 84 weapons seized, and over $144,000 in cash were seized. The FBI named the Phoenix FBI Task Force the second in the nation for arrests, seizures, and quality of investigations. Congratulations to the Gang Enforcement Unit, the recipients of the Police Chiefs Unit Award.
Hello, everyone. I'm Roy Green of the Arizona Cardinals. I just want to say this evening, thank you so much for what you do for my community. We really appreciate the effort that you give, the way you make it so that we can be safe as we go to bed at night. I know I, as well as your family, really loves and appreciates you. So all the wives and girlfriends, kids, whomever your relationship is with the officer out there, reach over right now, give him a kiss, a hug, or a handshake, and tell him how much you appreciate him, because I sure do. The Arizona Cardinals and the Phoenix Police Department, my two favorite teams.
From all of us here at CBS 5 and Wake Up Arizona, we want to thank each and every one of you with the Phoenix Police Department. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes, thank you. We call you, we text you, we tweet you, we bug you incessantly. You're always so patient with us, and you keep us safe out there, which we appreciate more than you know.
Yes, thank you. And we're going to keep calling you and texting you. So you
It's
better
not
pick
over.
up. Thank you, seriously.
Thank
you for everything that you do, keeping our community safe. We love you, and congratulations to all the folks getting awards in there.
Please welcome to the stage the recipient of our next award of the evening, receiving the award for Supervisor of the Year for the Phoenix Police Department. Please welcome Lieutenant Jason Johnson. Suffice it to say, it was a very busy year for the Downtown Operations Unit, with the number of planned public and private activities, major events, protest activity, and throw in there a precinct restructuring. Lieutenant Johnson's role as the DOU, Downtown Operations Unit, Events Lieutenant required him to plan, staff, and manage all of it, which he did exceptionally well. Over the course of the year, DOU managed over 300 events in the downtown core. After a year of planning, the College Football National Championship playoffs took place over a 3-day period. The city's hosted events were a huge success. Over 500,000 people came downtown to participate. Extensive police protection activity, protest activity, followed police actions in several major U.S. cities. Well, that found its way to Phoenix during the year. Under Lieutenant Johnson's leadership, the Downtown Operations Unit and the members of the Tactical Response Unit performed flawlessly during each of these incidents. Lieutenant Johnson's personality and professionalism has allowed him to develop and nurture the relationships with all of the businesses, property owners, universities, professional sports teams downtown. His efforts during 2016 represent the highest standards and traditions that every supervisor within the Phoenix Police Department strives for. Congratulations to Lieutenant Jason Johnson, Supervisor of the Year. Folks, tonight the voice you've heard throughout the ceremony came from the ranks among us. We have talent all over this department, and we are lucky enough to showcase some of that talent tonight. Please join me in recognizing from the Mountain View Precinct Neighborhood Enforcement Team, Sergeant Ron Bryant.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This has been a pleasure and an honor. To all the officers mentioned tonight, I apologize for messing up your names. Where are we eating?
Spoken like a true cop.
Or reporter. And now please direct your attention to the screen for a special message from Grand Canyon University President Brian Mueller.
Good evening. My name is Brian Mueller, and I'm the president of Grand Canyon University. I also want to welcome all the police officers here tonight, all of their families. This is a big night. This is a big night just not for the city of Phoenix and the police officers. It's a big night for America. It's a big night for Grand Canyon University. What's going on in our country right now is one of the most unfortunate things that I've ever observed. With police officers being treated the way they are in different cities and in different places across the country, it's not good for America that this is going on. What's good for America is that we have more evenings like this. When police officers are brought together, when families are brought together, when the city comes together, and we celebrate not only what you do, but your entire life. I have personally watched as in the last 6 or 7 years, things have been transformed. between 35th Avenue and Camelback, and between 27th Avenue and Camelback. I've watched as police officers have done their jobs in a very, very difficult environment, in a crime-ridden environment, where the majority of the people who live here, the vast majority, are very, very good people. But they've been overrun by some bad guys. What I have watched is you put your lives on the line, night after night, day after day, to protect the good people of this neighborhood. I've watched as the bad guys have been pushed out, have been driven out, and I've watched as hope has been restored for the people that live here. Not just for Grand Canyon University and our students, but for the people that live in our neighborhood. It's been one of the most remarkable transformations I think any of us have ever observed, and it's the police officers, the men and women that put their lives on the line every night and every day that are making this happen. We are deeply, deeply grateful for the work that you do, deeply grateful for the transformation that you're making happen in our neighborhood, and we want to celebrate with you, and we want this to be one of the greatest evenings that you and your families have ever enjoyed. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached our final award for the evening, the highest honor given to any Phoenix police officer, the Medal of Honor.
May 18th, 2016 was a horrible day for the Phoenix Police Department and our city. Phoenix Police received a 911 call of a burglary in progress. The caller stated the suspect had broken into his home, stole a gun, and was texting pictures of himself with a gun and drug paraphernalia, stating that he wanted to shoot police. Responding officers staged near the home. No movement was seen in or around the house or vehicles parked outside. Officers from the 81 X-Ray Maryvale Neighborhood Enforcement Team met with the complainant to confirm the text messages. After doing so, a group of officers, including Officer David Glasser, moved in to attempt to establish containment and communication with the suspect. As officers exited their patrol vehicles, they were immediately met with gunfire. Unbeknownst to them, the suspect was seated in a vehicle parked in front of the house with extremely dark tinted windows. Officers returned fire, and the threat was soon ended. Sadly, Officer David Glasser sustained critical injury from the encounter. Officers quickly formed an extraction team for Dave and began rendering aid. He was transported to the hospital, where he tragically succumbed to his injuries on May 19, 2016. Officer David Glasser made the ultimate sacrifice for the safety of his fellow officers and the community he so proudly served. His heroic actions are in keeping with the highest standards and traditions of the Phoenix Police Department. Tonight, the Phoenix Police Department is proud to posthumously bestow upon Officer David Glasser the Medals of Honor, Valor, and the Police Shield. Please welcome to the stage Mrs. Kristen Glasser, accompanied by members of David's squad, 81 X-Ray, who are here to accept the award on David's behalf.
I covered a SWAT situation this morning. It was a domestic violence situation that took a very bad turn, and the officers were able to make their way into the apartment, get the woman to safety, and then after about 4 to 5 hours, talk the guy out of the apartment. I think because of my job, I have a very unique perspective. I get to see what you guys do the way the public may not. And that gives me a lot of gratitude, huge gratitude for your service and the protection that you offer. I'm so humbled and honored to be here. Congratulations to all of the recipients. Thank you so much for what you do and the family members who love you so much.
Please join me in thanking Anita for sharing this very special evening with our family, and also in thanking the Police Foundation and all of those who worked so incredibly diligently to put this ceremony together. This concludes tonight's ceremony. Thank you, everyone. God bless you all, and please be safe.